Welcome to today's Xsellerate Founder Insight series. I'm here today with Daniel, co-founder of Fitmate. How are you, Daniel?
I'm great, Rob. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thanks. Daniel, before we jump into questions for people who aren't familiar with yourself and Fitmate out there, you want to give us just a brief introduction about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Fitmate, and Fitmate is a platform that allows users and individuals to access a diverse range of fitness and wellness options across Australia, um, without needing to have locked-in contracts and no cancellation and startup fees.
Fantastic. And Daniel, you're obviously part of a co-founding team. So how many founders have you got on board?
We have two founders, and we have growing a team steadily. So we have a CMO, we have some consultants on board, and some advisors.
Beautiful. So you're starting to make that progress and traction. So I guess Daniel, in terms of your business, we're having a brief chat about this before. You've got a bit of a model where you've got a balance. You've got your partners in your gyms and your service providers, and then you also have your direct customers that are coming and engaging with your solution. Can you tell us a little bit about how you go about balancing those two obviously prime stakeholders and ensuring that you're catering to each of their requirements?
Yeah, definitely. So with our business model, yeah, it's, as I said, it's a double-edged sword. So we have partners on board who are, who are gyms, predominantly gyms and wellness and fitness studios, and we have our customer base. So with that, we kind of have to have a product that's benefit for gyms and studios to come on board, where they see visual like an impactful benefit for them joining us. Plus, with our consumer base, we kind of have to provide a service with them and where they're feeling like they're getting value for money, plus other little things that makes them feel a part of the community as well. And so yeah,
Beautiful. And what are some of the ways that you've gone about that? Have you put any specific things in practice to ensure that you're not forgetting one party because you're so focused on another party?
yeah, it's quite easy to like really focus on all the energy on one team or one party. But at this point in time, we're trying to obviously we're still growing and getting out there. So realistically, trying to find the sweet spot with gyms and partners and trying to find what they need, trying to service them and looking after them, because obviously if we don't have these guys on board, then we don't have the our consumer base on board. So it's one of those things, what comes first, the egg or the chicken. So, but with that, we sit down, we negotiate, what a good payment would be, how what benefits of them, what profit split is more efficient, and effective for them to be coming on board and partnering up with us. With us, it's free to join, free to cancel. There's no cancellation fees for the partners. And then with the consumer base, we did a lot of research, surveys and stuff like that, and kind of just sent out and seeing what they would pay for an option like us. So we kind of look at what ClassPass is doing as well and our competitors, and kind of just go off that aspect and see what other value we can add. Predominantly things like giveaways and leaderboards and competitions, plus just a strong sense of community as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting there. You say that you um, went out to the market and you asked a lot of questions and what would you pay for this? That sounds like really solid validation done there. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you went about doing that validation, at what stage you did it, and some of the lessons or learnings that you got from completing that validation?
Yeah, definitely. So very early on, we kind of validated our concept, when we first started going through, researching and developing, and before we actually went live and developed our product, we sat down and we conducted a survey. We sent a survey out to 100 or so people, and we said, if there's a product like this in the market, what would you predominantly pay? What would you like to pay? and what would like to be in that, in these packages. Would you like just to have access just to gyms, or would you like to have access to, other boutique studios or recovery studios, or just a whole different plethora of things. So, that was a really good aspect and visual point what we could work off. And then, then we went to our partner base, and we said, this is what we're trying to do, and trying to grow from there, and get their feedback. But our model has changed, 4 or 5 times, just trying to get the perfect model, perfect model. But I don't think you can ever really get the perfect model on point from day one. So it's all about pivoting and adjusting, and moving forward, and seeing what works best and what doesn't work best from both parties, and getting their feedback constantly.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the point, the last one, getting their feedback constantly. I don't think there is ever a perfect model. And if there is, it may be perfect for a day before it changes again, and you've got to add something or pivot. So how did you go about, you said you surveyed around 100 people. How did you go about selecting them, and sort of what was their background? And
Yeah, definitely. So it was just with a bit of in our community with our founders, and just our network of founders and partners, and coming on board. And we kind of went out and reached out to their consumer base and said, hey, if there was an option like this, what would you pay for it, kind of thing. So we got some amazing feedback from that from day one. A lot of people come back with some weird and wonderful concepts, like we wouldn't pay for that, and wouldn't use it because I work night shift. So, but you kind of like alleviate those, and move forward, and see what the actual value is there.
yeah, fantastic. And in terms of you mentioned before, you're kind of selling to two stakeholders. You've got to sell to the partners, and you've got to sell to the direct consumers. So who sort of owns that in terms of the process of engaging them?
Yeah, so for me, for partners, it's all on me. As we're saying, we're obviously a startup. We try to be as lean as possible. So that is my domain. So reaching out to partners, and telling them what we're creating, and trying to create the hype, and trying to show them the benefits. So that is all on me. And now we're just starting to grow our community base, and our outreach through events managers and stuff like that, who are tapping into other communities, such as like run clubs and swim clubs and all these other little like other fitness clubs, and showing them that there's a company coming out that's they can service what you guys do in your community. Plus, you can come in to do little things like recovery, or do a hit session, or something that's out of their scope that they wouldn't normally do, and still kind of enhance on that community vibe that they've got. But yeah, for me, my background's not sales, so it's definitely a bit of a learning curve. Thrown in the deep end, learn a lot of mistakes. Pretty awkward to start with, when I started talking to people, and not really knowing how to go approach it. And but yeah, no, we've come a long way. My nerves have slowly dissipated, which is good. But no, it's great. So
Yeah, and as a founder, doing that founder-led sales, and having to do that without that experience or background in sales, what are some of the key things that you've implemented to help you along the way, and lessons that you might have learnt that have helped you get better at that as you go?
yeah, so always probably Googling and YouTubing, probably my best bet, and looking at other people, how they do their sales, and cold calls and email outreach and everything like that. So that's probably been my best, and leveraging off other people in our group, asking their advice, and seeing how a bit of a role play as well, trying to learn, and critique my sales, or me as a person as well. But I think as a founder, you just can't quit. So you just have to keep going. If you quit, if you stop and get nervous, nothing's going to eventuate. So just get out there, break through the nerves, and get it done.
Yeah, and I think that is key. I'm hearing that a lot from multiple founders. It's that perseverance, it's that continuing on, the resilience, And I think a founder I was just talking to recently said, there's a saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, but a brick was laying every hour. So as long
Yes,
as you continue laying the bricks, you'll eventually get to your Rome.
that's right.
So don't stop laying the bricks. Is
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
basically, yeah,
I've got a quote that that I love, that life is like a bicycle. As soon as you stop pedaling, you fall off. So you just got to keep pedaling one pedal at a time.
yeah, yeah. No, that's good. Um, so yeah, there's a few different things there that you've picked up over time. Is there anything else in your journey to date that was really pivotal for you, or was a key learning that you think founders out there listening today might really benefit from?
Yeah, definitely. I think networking is huge. Um, Getting out there, meeting other founders, going to startup events is paramount. I think and you can just bounce off people in communities and different things. So I think that's key. And also leveraging your people, like your network or people that who are in business, and asking their advice. Moving forward, and you'd be surprised who one person might know, because they might lead you into another person, and it might lead you to another person like yourself, Rob. Like, you've introduced me to a lot of people in the way, so really grateful for that. And yeah, you just start a conversation, and you never know where it will end up. So
Yeah, for sure. And that is definitely one of the key things. And I always say to all our founders, you're not alone. There are people, hundreds of thousands of people out there who've done what you've done, who've been where you are, and are more than willing to help.
yeah, exactly,
If you don't ask, you don't get. So it's go out there, meet people, ask questions, and soak it up like a sponge.
exactly.
So yes, I think that's a really good point to end on. So Daniel, it's been really great catching up today. I think there's some really good tips there that people can benefit from. And from what we were talking about before, it sounds like Fitmate's moving ahead in leaps and bounds. So if you're out there and you're traveling a bit and you want to have some variety in the gyms you go to and that flexibility, definitely check out Fitmate, because it definitely is a groundbreaking solution.
Thanks, Rob.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Daniel. See you later.